So all of these questions have been sent in by social media followers.
Yeah, great.
Millions of young people are not planning to vote in this general election. What would you say to them to get them to vote reform?
If you're really happy with the way the country is being run, with your prospects, don't vote. Stay at home. But if, like me, you think life's pretty unfair on young people, lockdown hit really hard, your opportunities to get a house, to get a well-paid job are worse than they've ever been, far worse than for your parents and grandparents, have a look at what I've got to say. I'm standing up. I'm leading a revolt against Labour and Conservatives. I want real change. Go to the Reform website, have a butcher's.
What's your stance on university tuition fees? Would you reduce them, keep them the same, or increase?
I wouldn't charge anyone tuition fees at university if they were studying science, technology, engineering, medicine, or maths. For the rest, folks, too many of you are going to university. You're coming out with massive debt wrapped around your necks. You'd have been better off learning trades and skills and very quickly earning real dough.
What is the Reform stance on illegal drugs, and would you legalise cannabis?
I've always thought we should have a royal commission to see whether we should decriminalise cannabis. And yet I look at America and states where we have decriminalised cannabis or drugs that are even stronger, and it hasn't really made much difference. And to be honest with you, the law's the law. It's not being enforced anyway. All I would say is cannabis does more long-term harm than most people realise.
And what do you think about this new friendship between Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un? Would it be bad for us?
I think Vladimir Putin being with Kim Jong-un, but more significantly getting close to President Xi of China, there is an alliance of nations building up against us, and we need a lot more young people going into the army, the air force and the navy. We need a strong military to keep the peace.
And can you capitalise on these latest polls?
Well, the polls show the Tories are going to be wiped out. That's true. And I've been saying this ever since I launched back on the 4th of June. I came back into it. I said, look, the election's over. Labour have won, the Tories have lost. I think the general public are now beginning to get that. For us, that's a remarkable situation. Number one, all the polls you see today, the field work was done 8, 10, 12 days ago, in one case up to 28 days ago. Things have changed. So we're much higher than what you can see today because the polls aren't up with us. But I do think this, it's the first general election for a very long time where we kind of know the outcome before we get to it. And that gives people freedom to vote with their hearts. And I think this could benefit Reform UK enormously because, let's say you're a Brexiteer worried about high levels of migration but thinking of voting Labour. Well, if you know Starmer's going to be PM, I might be quite useful in the House of Commons saying, whoa, don't take us back too close to the European Union. And equally, if you're a Conservative and you agree with what I'm saying and you're appalled by 14 years of high taxes, by 882 young men crossing the English Channel on Tuesday alone. Again, you can vote with your heart. It's almost like a European election now. If you really like me, you can vote for me. It won't affect the result hugely, but it will mean there's a real voice of opposition.
Final question. You say the Tories messed up Brexit. Do you still think it was a good thing?
Brexit's good, we're independent, we're free, we're not being governed by a bunch of bureaucrats in Brussels. But Brexit was about border controls, about not having mass population explosions through immigration. The Conservatives have delivered the opposite. I wish I'd been in charge. It would be very, very different.